Well, hello there. Thank you so much for being here and Happy New Year. It is 2025 and you know what that means for this community in particular? It means we're going on our 5th year. Yeah, that's really amazing and I have every bit of you all to thank for that. We all collaborated together, commenting, reading each other's stories, and sticking together is what we're all about. And I'm still on a mission to give you real helpful information. Always trying to research and bring this field, this bottom end health into the future, into the present, really. It's so backed up, no pun intended, but we're still in the early Middle Ages. I mean, we can't even say the word anus without, keeping a straight face, which, okay, I can't help that either, but I mean, you see me, I'm already smiling. But you know what I mean? It's that taboo. Even for me, it's still a little taboo. Okay, but thank you so much for being here. I am your friendly proctologist, Dr. Chung. Let's get to today's video where we talk about what not to do when it comes to our bottom end health. The first thing not to do, and it's probably the most important, the most pervasive of all, is that dang device that is stuck to our body like an extra appendage. You guessed it. The one with the screen, it's the cell phone, the smart device. Or it could be your iPad, it could be your laptop. But that thing makes us do so many things wrong on the toilet, it's unbelievable, okay? The first thing, of course, is it makes you sit there on the throne longer. And when you sit there, and long after you're done pooping, okay, the muscles stay kind of relaxed. The pelvic floor drops down, the anus is open. But you know what else is happening at the same time? The blood is still collecting down in your anus, which is now the lowest part of your pelvis, and causes our hemorrhoids to swell up. That stretches these blood vessels out and causes hemorrhoid symptoms like the itching, like the bleeding, like the fullness, all those things. If you know that sitting there longer causes those things, try getting up really early, like right after you're done with your business. I promise you that those symptoms will be much less severe. Another thing that dang device does is cause us to be emotionally involved in the content we're watching. Probably the best example is if you're watching some kind of cliffhanger type of content where it's super adrenaline focused, right? Fight or flight type of thing. We've got our mind-body connection going on, and our butt might be doing the same butt clenching action as if you were doing the mountain climbing or you were doing the skydiving or mountain biking. That's right. And so if your muscles are not doing the relaxing mode, but in the active adrenaline mode, they're going to be clenched up, closing down, and you're going to find that you have to push a little bit harder to get that poop out or sit a little bit longer, what have you, right? So we want to definitely instead change modes. Turn off that dang phone, turn off that content. And what do we want to do? The thing to do is to actually focus on the pooping routine. We want our muscles to relax. We want to breathe. We want the anus to open up, pelvic floor drop down, and then the poop should come out like a slip and slide. That's exactly what we want to do. While we're talking about things not to do, let's talk about something that we should be doing when we have our bottom end issues, and that is to try Pranicura. These guys are sponsoring today's video, and I'm so proud to bring them to you. And the reason why they've been so great is because they truly have the same passion I do about helping you with your bottom end. This cream is very soothing. It's got that gentle menthol sensation, which allows you to get rid of the itching, help your hemorrhoids swell down, and also numb up your fissures as well. So many people are using it to get help and healthy with their bottom ends. And so I invite you to try it. They are at the website of www.pranicura.com. Ask them if they can ship to your country. They do some international work as well too. And so check out their reviews. I'll see you in just a few seconds. The second thing you don't want to be doing is forcing the poop out. Yes, I do mean straining. However, it's not just that simple as, oh, avoid hard poops. Yeah, I know. That one is super easy. There's different context to this forcing the poop out thing. Like, you woke up late for work. You now only have 20 minutes to get out the door, where usually it takes you 1 hour. You've got to wake up, brush your teeth, got to say hi to your dog, got to walk your dog, got to have your cup of coffee, and then the poop comes out nice and easy. But if you have 15 minutes, what are you going to do? The poop's not ready. Like, it's not even crowning yet. And you're thinking, oh my God, body, let's hurry up already. Don't you understand the urgency? No, the anus doesn't. Okay, it's got a mind of its own, especially that internal anal sphincter muscle, and it's gonna do it in its own time. So that's what I mean. You're in a panic. You're in a hurry. What's another one? How about in a stressful moment? Okay, you're taking care of the kids alone by yourself. You've got a 2 and a 4-year-old running around the house. You get to the toilet. You think you have like 2 seconds of peace, right? But what do? All of a sudden you hear their feet pattering on the ground. They're, mommy, and they're knocking on the door. And mommy, daddy, where are you? Can I have a box of Cheerios? You know, I mean, I've got a 4 and a 6-year-old. They don't do that anymore, thank God. But that, in addition to maybe something stressful is going on at work, right? Your poop is soft. You shouldn't be blocked up. But when it's kind of time to sit down the toilet, you got the urge, everything is all right to go, but oh man, if you don't get this thing out, you're going to have to force it out. And so that's what you end up doing. You got to put some energy behind this train and get it out of town. The third thing you don't want to be doing is holding your poop longer than necessary. And I totally understand. Sometimes it's just not the right context. There isn't a bathroom nearby. It's just not possible to do. And in those cases, it's very difficult. But what's happening here is your anus is taking the burden upon itself to squeeze as hard as it freaking can to keep that torpedo from coming out and creating an explosion, right? And the problem is maybe you are able to keep it in. So you feel safe. You feel like you're not going to make an embarrassment of yourself. So you get past that stage. But when it's time to actually go number 2 and release it, people find that the pooping is very, very difficult. Why? Because the anus has been squeezing this entire time. It can't just reverse the command and now just 100% relax when you've been telling it to squeeze for the past hour straight. So many times that relaxation, even with breathing techniques and relaxation techniques, can be very, very difficult and challenging to stand up to and get it to act appropriately. So that's why those poops can be traumatic, even though you finally got a chance to release it and you feel like you're doing everything possible behavior-wise to get the job done. The next thing you don't want to be doing is wiping very frequently or very hard on the skin of your anus or your butt cheeks. And this goes without saying, right? I mean, it's very obvious, but we want to be careful with how things creep up on us, okay? Because it's not like any of us intend to create these big open wounds in our anus and want to get itchy. It's because we want to get clean and we think we're doing something healthy and something right for our body, but it ends up backfiring on us, right? The perfect example is you're in Mexico, you are drinking the water, eating the food, all of a sudden you realize you just had 4 episodes of diarrhea. Then what I would suggest at that moment is actually just to realize what's happening. Say, oh my God, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to have another 2 to 3 days more of diarrhea. I'm going to start using the shower now. No more of this tissue paper stuff. The anus is having the time of its life right now in a negative way. I need to give it a break. Another situation people find themselves in trouble is their poop is very mushy and soft. Maybe it's super greasy, okay? And you have a really hard time getting hygienic in those situations. And yeah, that is an everyday thing. And if you poop 2-3 times a day, yeah, you're going to be doing that multiple times a day. So what do you do then? My suggestion would be several things. If you're at home, definitely wash, shower, bidet, squeeze bottle bidet, which are really cheap off of Amazon or in your local pharmacy. And another suggestion is just to say, hey, if, like, let's say you're out in the restaurant, hey, I'm not going to be able to get this 100% spick and span like I would at home. I'm just going to have to leave a tissue paper on my anus in between my butt cheeks and walk out of the bathroom like that, okay? Maybe I'll wipe once or twice, right? It's better than wiping 15 times until your tissue paper is completely spotless. But after maybe 2 wipes, give yourself that restriction and say, you know what? When I get home, I'll get to it. But I know no one can smell any of this. And plus, it's not going to get on my clothes, etc. The number 5 thing on our list is overdoing the foods and drinks that we know screw us up. And we all know what it is for each and every one of us, right? Some of us, it's about that spice level. You hit a quota, and if you grab that extra spoonful of hot sauce, you know you're going to be in trouble the next day. How about that extra martini? If you drink that the next day, you're going to be struggling with some bad constipation. And really, in the end, can we settle with moderation? Can we make that decision in our heads, right? So that we can have a great evening on the day of that meal, and also the next day not suffer on the toilet. Because the thing is, if we keep repeating that behavior, knowing full well that our anus hated it, are they going to complain more? Are they going to start growing larger? Are the symptoms of itching, bleeding going to continuously get worse on us and make it more noticeable, and therefore hold us back from our lifestyles? And that's the warning here. I would love for you to take some time, think about it, and make sure that you are enjoying your life and also taking care of your bottom end. The next item on our list is much easier said than done, but it still has to be said, and that is to not panic as much as possible. When you're in that constipation crisis mode, or you've got a ton of pain going on in your bottom end, how could you not react in that way? Well, the thing is that growing more anxious, or as we would term it, freaking out, is also not helpful at the same time.
I'm freaking out! Don't freak out!
And what's happening is your muscles of your anus and your pelvic floor are starting to clench down and close that exit, which causes a ton of issues, right? Feelings of constipation, fullness, can't pee, can't fart, etc., etc. And we just don't want those things to start snowballing on you. Instead, what I would suggest, laying down, taking some deep breaths, figuring out logically whether you need to get medical attention or not, right? Start seeing if you can find doctors that are able to help you sooner rather than later. Do you need to go to the emergency room or urgent care? These are the types of decisions that I'd rather have you be making earlier on rather than being totally emotional and not being able to help yourself. That's why I think it's great if you have a partner at home or someone that you live with that can help you make it and process these decisions. But certainly, I fully acknowledge that these moments are completely out of our control and feel very, very daunting. Number 7 that I recommend you don't do is starting cleanses that cause massive diarrhea. We all know what those are, okay? We've heard them all on the internet. Yes, huge benefits to some of those reviews that have taken them. But if you know you've got bottom end issues, I highly suggest you really think about it, okay? Because a lot of these cleanses, you can't really go halfway. You either do it all or you do it not at all. Because if you do it just partially, you're not going to get the benefit. I totally understand that. The thing is that you can't control how massive the diarrhea is going to be, and you can't control the kind of flare of your hemorrhoid that you're going to end up getting. I've seen so many patients that are, we're all on a health kick. I mean, right? We all want to live forever and be as active, and our brains as active as possible, and our guts to be as healthy as possible. But watch out for these types of cleanses where there's tons of people getting loose stools, because again, I don't want you to have more issues by getting injuries in your bottom ends at the same time. The next thing on our list is avoiding physical activity. And I mean this even when we're having a hemorrhoid flare. If you're having a really big one, you probably can't move one iota. But if you're having a more minor flare, or you feel like you can tolerate some movement, and I'm going to get into exactly what I mean, I highly advise it. Why? Because our gut, our intestines, our body depend on movement to stimulate our intestines and to get the pooping process going. So if we stop doing everything and just lay in bed all day long and sleep all day long, we're more apt to have constipation. And we just don't want more incidents to give us an excuse to have more hemorrhoid flares. But the type of movement I'm talking about is not going to the gym or running a few miles like you usually do. I mean just sitting up in a chair or in your bed. Also stretching, just moving your arms around, right? Move your legs around. Maybe just bending down, doing some yoga. That might be something you could potentially do. Looking up some videos on YouTube on simple movements, right? Maybe exercises for seniors. I'm not even trying to joke around about that, but many of these movements are super helpful, can get creative in ways where we're a little bit incapacitated. So doing as much physical activity as you can tolerate is going to be a lot better than just laying motionless and sleeping the entire time. Number 9 on our list is something I'm truly passionate about, which is eating too much fiber. The internet, your doctors, I don't care what kind of doctor it is, surgeon or medical or your family doctor, all going to tell you that fiber is the way to go. And the more you can get, the better off you are. But the millions of people around the world and the thousands of patients in my office, including myself, really have to disagree. Fiber is a great substance. There's no argument about that. But just like everything else in the world, there is an optimal level here, and we need to find that. So by clobbering on the fiber immediately after you get a hemorrhoid episode, or after you see the doctor, or after you see that internet article, I don't suggest just going all in and full send it, okay? Try small servings at first, maybe one serving, right, of some vegetables, however you want to do it. If you got the powder, just maybe a teaspoon or half of a tablespoon, a small amount, right? Try that out for 2 to 3 days and see how your body deals with it. If you feel the improvement, awesome. It's probably helping you, and the extra fiber is a benefit. Then maybe add another half tablespoon, what have you. And those kind of slow increments is how I would suggest to find the optimal level, because at some point the fiber may backfire on you, make you gassy, give you hard poops, give you really wide and big poops that are difficult to pass, give you really huge urgency to go to the bathroom when you need to go number 2. It feels like there's somebody banging on your anus door that can't wait to get out, right? You got to find a bathroom really, really urgently. The thing with fiber is that also you need to drink a lot of water with it. So as you're taking in more fiber, drink the water with it. It does not steal it from your body, and it is necessary to keep up the hydration all day long. Again, fiber is a great thing, but find that optimal level for you. The final number 10 thing not to do is to change your diet routine at the drop of a hat. And you know what I mean? I mean, the whole thing with social media and fitness influencers and even people who are talking about hemorrhoids, and we just talked about the fiber thing, is that they oftentimes recommend that you really change your life around, because what you're doing is killing yourself. Stop eating all the donuts, stop eating all the carbs, go all carnivore. No, you gotta go all plant-based. That's the way to do it, non-processed. Go Mediterranean. What you're eating is total garbage. And, for the workout influencers, high protein supplementation, creatine, all these things, right? What is the correct diet to do? Can I do these diets safely with my hemorrhoid issues is the question in everybody's mind. And what I suggest is, hey, that diet, I don't have anything against diets, right? I don't think one is particularly bad. All I think about is that diet has pros and cons to it. And when it comes to you specifically, the individual, I don't know if it's going to work well or not. So I suggest people start slow, right? If you're going from a balanced diet, grains, meats, and vegetables, and now you're going into very high protein, so you're getting rid of all the carbs. Well, why don't you do things stepwise? Maybe cut out some carbs, maybe half the amount of carbs in your meals and increase the protein, right? And then see what your body does. Does your anus hate you? Because some people get super constipated with overloading the protein powder because they're dehydrated. They're not doing well with hydration. Or their body processes the protein and makes it into a big brick. Some diets cause massive diarrhea, right? And we want to control for these as much as possible, because if we see that the stools are getting harder, getting more looser, maybe we can say, hey, I think we should stop here. Or maybe make a different change so that I can achieve my goals, right? There's different kinds of proteins, different kinds of plant-based foods that will get me to achieve my diet goal, but modify it just for my body, because this is what it wants to do with these things. And that way we don't get into any emergencies. We don't get into hemorrhoid flares. So all perfectly well and good to change your life, make changes, especially with the new year coming around, right? But be careful about switching that rapidly. Your body loves routine. It loves seeing the same thing every day and doing what it normally has to do. Give the new things to your body very slowly, introduce it, and make it a gradual thing, and stop where your body is happiest and you're happy as well. And this list of 10 things was a compilation of heavy thought into my practice and into my patients. Because what happens to us here, and myself included, definitely happens to people all around the world. We all struggle through the same things. Absolutely. And so I hope this list gives you the drive to try new things, think about things differently, and of course, be nicer to your anus. And so as we close, definitely I want to give another shout out to Pranicura. Thank you so much to these guys who have been a faithful sponsor and faithful leader in our bottom end health. And this cream has been awesome in my applications, of which I love it for itching. I love it to cool down the swelling. And when I've got my issues with the hemorrhoids, this is who I turn to first. I don't use preparation age anymore because this is the guy that I go to now. You can only get Pranicura from their website, www.pranicura.com. Ask them if they can ship to your country if you're not in the United States. And I wish you the best. You take care. Bye-bye.